That's a great performance, team. We will now be giving away the high school completion certificate. I request our principal, Dr. Subhash Kumar, to do the honors. The first student receiving his certificate is Byung Ho Kim. Atip Ungsashu. Anirban Mana. Rishon Bondal. Raj Vardhan Vyas Pushkarna. Vishnu Kirti Prabhakaran. Veeraboina Nikhil. Arshlin Kaur Sabharwal. Thank you, sir. Congratulations, all of you. It is time for the final award of the night, the Valedictorian Award. I invite our Chairman, Mr. Suresh Reddy, to do the honors. This year's Valedictorian Award goes to Anirban Mana. Thank you, sir, and congratulations, Anirban. I would now request our valedictorian, Anirban, to deliver his final speech.
Look at that. After 567,648,000 seconds later, we are finally here. Class of 2015, it is my honor to tell you that you have made it. But most of you probably don't even care, because you guys are just sitting there looking ridiculous in your gowns that have an uncanny resemblance to nuns. Well, you might want to pay attention now, because I'm about to shower you with teachings of great value. But wait, don't be afraid to use your cell phones, because I want this speech on Snapchat. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2015. We are all gathered here to celebrate our last day of high school. But what does it mean to graduate? Are we finally free from the clutches of our parents? Are we finally ready to stride the path of the unknown? Are we finally equipped to take on the world? Well, that is exactly what these 2 years were preparing us for, and we won't know if all the effort was productive until we step out of these shells. But I would like to thank the people who have been a constant support through this journey, always holding us down before we ever have the chance of running away. The first ones always here were the teachers. Let us have a round of applause for those who taught us for the heck of teaching, because we all know that they aren't in it for the money. We have learned a lot. For starters, Mr. Buchi Babu, the one man I know who has the quadratic equation flowing through his veins instead of blood. He taught me that 2 multiplied by 5 can be 3. Mr. Anthony, the Tony Stark of our Avengers team, the TOK guru who evidently followed the motto, if you can't convince him, confuse him. He is the sly man responsible for igniting topics of serious debate in our TOK class, only to disappear and return as a spectator for the carnage that followed. But I have a question. How is it that after the dozens of presentations I have done in my English class, I still stand here with my legs shaking, ready to pass out? Perhaps the English course needs a revamp. A round of applause for Miss Amanda. Thank you for being so supportive and, more importantly, putting up with us as your homeroom students. You probably weren't as bad as us. And how can I forget Miss Prasija, whose confidence in us was earth-shattering. Her apathy towards albandial physics was a marvelous experience. The Austeralist course demanded an Otectious teacher who was in favor of autargy. However, she had to put up with a bunch of bejewelets like us. A special thanks to Dr. Bimal for his constant support, which allowed us to complete IB Hindi in only a year. But then again, anything is possible when you have students as diligent as us. Wait, how many subjects did I just finish? Mr. Venugopal, the catalyst to our reactions, who oriented us the right way so that 3 students could overcome the activation energy and move on towards the completion of this endothermic reaction. Thank you, sir. Then there's Mr. Gina. ITGS is the easiest subject in the world, and you're welcome for all of us acing it after studying 1 period before the test. No, I kid, of course. More than a teacher, you have been an acquaintance, and I could say a friend above all. Unfortunately, or fortunately enough, IB requires me to take only 6 subjects, and that is the reason I did not get the opportunity to know the other teachers as well as I did the ones I mentioned. But even so, without you guys, this batch could not have made it. On behalf of all my classmates, I truly thank you for always being there for us and never letting your faith in us waver. Now let us put our hands together for the 2 most important F's in our life. Our friends and family, who just stood there cheering while we struggled through the hurdles that IB dared to throw at us. But that is not the end of my gratitude. It has just begun, as I haven't even come to the main part yet. My classmates. Some interesting, while some special in their own way. I want to thank them all for the times they have made me want to pull all their hair out. And when that wasn't enough, they made me want to pull my hair out too. Yes, Arsley, I'm talking to you. You know, I'm really surprised that I still haven't gone bald yet. Another special mention to our sports captain, Bruce Lee, who fails to do more pull-ups than me. Who's the Choose Lee now, Nikhil? You win. Vishnu, I want to thank you especially for imparting all sorts of knowledge and information, not only to your classmates, but also the teachers in our respective classes. When's the next ESP? Actually, we'll talk about that later. Our teachers, friends, and family, or as I like to call them, the TFFs, much like the TFE institutionalized by our beloved principal, thank you, Dr. Subhash, are who should be thanked again and again, as they were the ones who blessed me with the ability to be competent, an extremely viable asset in the world of incompetency. And these abilities are the ones that we will be using to make this world a better place. And finally, a shout out to Ms. Priya. The last year, Candor has grown leaps and bounds, and I think it's safe to say that a large part of its growth is down to you, for all the changes you have brought in and the values that you have inculcated in us. A round of applause to Ms. Priya. At the beginning of the IB program, I was enthusiastic, ready to take on IB without any protective gear. Perhaps use the other students in my batch as shields. Unfortunately, this was no one-man show. But it took quite a few beatings for all of us to realize that we had to team up. We had to work together, assist each other in conquering this Swiss abomination. And my friends, today is the day we dine in peace. Victory is ours. But I want all of you to remember the first day we started this as the trial batch, the lab rats of this school, and then the day our hopes were shattered. The day that made all of you feel humble again. The day we realized that we were not invincible unless we came together. Remember what I have said. Step outside of your shells and know that the moments we had is just the beginning of a long-lasting relationship. Most of you who have known me will presumptuously hate me for saying this, but be water, my friend. Throughout my high school years, I didn't learn. I was taught. Now is when our learning begins. Now is when we become stronger. Now is when we become faster. Our metamorphosis has begun, my friends. Tread wisely.
Thank you, Anirban.
Graduates, will you please rise first? I request you all to turn your tassels from the right to the left. Please clap, audience. Congratulations, class of 2014. You may please sit down. We've come towards the end of the ceremony. I'd like to take this pleasure to do the vote of thanks today. Firstly, I would like to thank the management for all the support that has rendered to us. Thank you, Mr. Suresh, Mr. Naresh, Ms. Madhvi, Mr. Sridhar, and Dr. Subhash for trusting in me and giving me a free hand to run the IB diploma program. Much appreciate that. A round of applause, please. Secondly, I would like to thank our chief guest, Dr. B.N. Suresh, for being with us. It's been a real pleasure to have you here with us, sir. Thank you so much. Thirdly, I would like to thank the members of this audience, the members in the audience who are colorfully dressed, my IB colleagues, who have been a great source of strength and support to me, the students, and the school. Thank you, dear IB teachers, and all the other teachers who are here today to watch this program. A round of applause for the teachers. I also extend my thanks to the people behind the scenes, the graduating committee, Ms. Sajina, who was the next? Ms. Prasija, Ms. Pooja, Mr. Venugopal, and all the grade 11 students, Ananya, Tanya, Shreya, Pranasvi, Madhura, Deepa, Dakshin, for all their efforts in planning this event from the beginning. Mr. Jomi for his technical arrangements, Mr. Ashok for the transport arrangements and stage arrangements, Mr. Sanjeev for the lighting, Mr. Ramchandra for catering, Ms. Rona and Ms. Dhyanada for helping with the decorations, Ms. Ritika for all the graduation packages, Mr. Delvin for training the students, and last but not the least, did I forget someone? Yes, I did. I'm sure all of you know who this man is. He's someone who will never want to do anything with purple again. This person has decided that for the next graduation, he will ask me in advance what is the color he needs for graduation, because I drove him up the wall trying to get purple candles, purple balloons, purple wrappers, purple flowers, purple tissue papers. Don't ask me. Everything to do with purple. And I'm sure he does not want to do anything with purple again. Can I have you, Mr. Gideon? Where are you? Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, he's missing as usual. Every time I say a thank you, oh my God, can you come here, Mr. Gideon? And you must notice he also has a purple tie. So he's been someone who's been honestly doing work throughout the night. I see a WhatsApp message at 11 o'clock in the night, at 12 o'clock in the night. Last night he kept sending me pictures of this hall, pictures of all the decorations. I don't know what. I don't know how much I can thank you enough. I don't think I can. Really don't have any words for you, Gideon. Thank you so much. Okay, we have another special occasion here. We would like the chief guest, Dr. B.N. Suresh, to unveil our yearbook. Sir, could you please come up? Thank you, sir. Thank you, Doctor. I would like to quote Charles Dickens, "The pain of parting is nothing to the joy of meeting again." So please keep in touch. Thank you, guys. Now, the last part of the ceremony is the candle lighting ceremony. I request our chairman, Mr. Suresh Reddy, the chief guest, our dean, Mr. Sridhar, our principal, Dr. Subhash, all of us to come to help in assisting the lighting of the candles for the graduates.